Greetings, hello, peoples of the internet. Welcome to the Salt Grinder. Um,
I gotta say, you just stole the intro of that YouTube channel I
oh,
like. Trillion Packs, so it's a shame he doesn't
oh.
upload it.
Back in the day, we used to do intro, wear glasses, be fancy, all that crap. Uh, but as you know, 30 episodes in, it does take its toll, especially when there are zero viewers on stream, so nobody gets to see intro until like the first like 5 minutes that people realize this shit is on. Um,
Plus,
so
plus taxes got too high. You know, can't keep putting socks on my face.
I still do have the glasses though. Um, this is mainly a callback to the anime law where we used to lead with the glasses, make some pretentious opening, and then throw them out and introduce the show. Um, but yeah, I sort of grew out of it. I don't know. But with that said, there is a good amount of stuff we can talk about this week. We have a lot of Corona news. Have you been keeping up?
Of course, of course.
How much is your how much is the number in Canada right now? Did it
I
increase or
think
is it contained?
every day we're getting maybe a couple new cases in the big cities. So far, nothing in the small cities. They're doing a pretty good job, I think, keeping it contained.
Of containing it? Our
Yeah,
government, I don't know if they're doing a good or a bad job. Honestly, I don't know.
still don't know.
Um,
Khairan
like
is looking great right now.
no, thumbprints are out. So right now you sign your name again, which is like for work, which is a relic of the past, I guess. Um, what else do we have that happened? Yeah, schools, 2 weeks of holiday. They they're enjoying it, and there is talk of them canceling the entire course, or at least giving everybody a passing grade, or the grades they already accumulated, and make that their total grade. So that's what they're going to be stuck to for a while. I, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, like this virus, because on one hand, um, a lot of here's the thing: 2020 is a good year. So I don't know if this virus is good too. I don't know. Right? People will say it's a bad thing. It's killing people. Everything kills people. But what this virus is doing right now is it's creating a good amount of destability. And I don't think I remember the last time we had like a real shakeup in the world.
Oh, I
Like what?
remember, and it's funny you used Jacob. I mean, well, not in the world, but I remember this happening in the last year I was in Kuwait. You remember the earthquake?
What the slight
The
treble
slight
that we
shaky?
got? Yeah.
How people were freaking out, dude. Dude, I was having a blast seeing
That
everyone like in my WhatsApp just go crazy.
that's not a shakeup though. What is a shakeup, for example, is the financial crisis 2008, was it? When
Yep.
everybody freaked the fuck out. Now
That's
that was a shakeup. Things changed. Things have been too stable since, in my opinion. And if this virus gives us a good shake, it gives opportunities for people to change. The more stable and the more like uniform everything is, the more you get people who are like just ridiculously comfortable, and I do not like that. I do like a slight bit of tension and danger, and maybe the corona does provide us with that. What are your thoughts on this?
I definitely agree with that. I think when things are just too stable and everyone's too comfortable, the whole general public just goes down this weird route of I used to put it as well. What's the word I used with you before?
I don't
Decadence,
know.
and I hate that.
Decadence.
Yeah, I like to see that there are things that are motivating people to you know, think about their lives a bit more. Uh, I like the sense of struggle, personally.
Funny you mentioned this because I read a book recently. It's made by Dan Carlin. If anybody knows Dan Carlin, he makes history podcasts, hardcore history specifically. And after people bugged him enough, he made a book, and the book is called "The End Is Always Near." Right? Apocalyptic moments from the Bronze Age collapse up to nuclear apocalypse, and the entire book is like a fangirling about how civilizations collapsed and
Hmm.
how people took things for granted and always took things for granted during their time, and um, that's not the case. And that's what the book is trying to tell you, is that the end is always near, right? So you should always treat your life and treat the world in general like it's gonna end, and therefore you should get your shit done, and you should put your priorities in order. You're not here forever, right? And I like people are not usually they don't have the mental capacity to internalize this as fact in their lives. That we're kind of hardwired to just find the best opportunity, the greatest opportunity to relax, and we do. And suddenly you get people who just don't focus on the right things, right? Well, something external like a coronavirus spreading could be could be a good slap, just like the 2008 financial crisis was, just like the Arab Spring, all these crises. We need a good crisis every 5 years, I think, just to shake us up and make us focus on and be on edge.
Yeah, pretty much that. I mean, it works out sometimes better than other times. Like, I won't tell you there's a certain country that, you know, took a bit hard. But everything works out at the end, as the great Dr. Kuwait would say.
It's all as it should be.
It's all
No,
as it should.
no, that's a funny thing, right? Like when you go to what's this place? Like, what's the place that this happened in? China, right?
Try.
What place needed a shakeup more than China, if you think about it? Like, this virus is well timed, right as the social credits program, you know, was
Yep.
being implemented, right as China started to meddle with things in the Middle East, right as China's getting too comfortable with its shit, you know, they get that shakeup. And things have been in Hong Kong, and I have one source there who keeps telling me about it. Hong Kong has been protesting for months now, right? Nobody cares in the West. But the second the corona hit, everybody just went indoors. They're already tired from the crisis. And once it hit, everybody just stayed indoors. Everybody's on edge. And China's right now on edge. Containment camps, death camps, basically just everywhere, just spread all about. And they're losing a ton of money over this because while the coronavirus isn't particularly dangerous, regular influenza can kill you better. Um, people's panic affects the stocks, right? And that's the funny things about stocks. It's built upon trust and built upon confidence, and that somehow translates into money and value. And now people's trusts in the China spending are all the way down, and what's happening is that a lot of money is being lost and a lot of value is being reduced. And I find this fun. You know, livelihoods will be lost, livelihoods will be gained. Things are moving about as they usually do.
The paper
Things
mask
change.
industry is doing just fine right now.
Oh yes. They cannot get more demand for their shit.
Dude, did you
Uh,
hear about how, like, I'm pretty sure it was the WHO like chief? He went on record saying, "Okay, guys, don't buy those expensive paper masks. The virus is really big. Literally anything will stop it. Don't go around buying these paper masks."
it doesn't work. The hype is there. It's done. They've made their money and they're gonna make more. There are black market sellers for face masks now. Okay, so like I'm told in Hong Kong they're trying to smuggle masks in because they like people hoard and people do all these things you do in a crisis, right? To benefit and make money. Um, hand sanitizers I think ran out in Kuwait because everybody's just grabbing them, and every company and bank has to have like a hand sanitizer like right next to their machines so people don't freak out and don't show up, just so they can have their businesses moving. Again, government canceled the thumbprint into the job, back to signatures, and it's preferred if you bring uh, your own fucking pen. I see people with face masks in my job all the time. It's done.
Oh no.
Yep. And there are some who don't care, me included, who just show up, right? I've always had my own pen, so I sign with my own pen, but it's not because of Corona panic. Uh, what is it called? I don't show up with a mask. To me, that's until cases spread and it's confirmed that it's everywhere. Maybe I'll wear a mask, but if I'm ill, I'll definitely wear a mask. But why would I wear a mask? The the panic, the hype is too good, and I refuse to subscribe to any hype, much less disease hype. Um, but with that said, besides Corona, things have been a bit interesting on the European border with Asia, specifically Turkey. You know what happened there?
What happened there?
Um, so,
What's
you
Erdogan
know,
up to this time?
yep. What's his name? So Britain leaves the EU, right?
Yep.
Which
See,
means the EU lost their second largest contributor to the European Union, and that's creating a lot of tension in the EU. Like the EU southern countries, um, the EU southern countries are struggling because if the EU reduces payments, they get less money from what they give in, and the northern countries are annoyed because the northern countries, which are richer, are struggling because to keep the current financial thing afloat, they have to actually fucking invest more money to accommodate for the Britain stuff, which means more taxes, which means angrier people. So what's been happening? The northern countries are angry, and the southern countries are angry, right? And what a time to pounce, Erdogan! What a time to pounce! So Erdogan has been keeping migrants from Syria and refugees from entering Europe for like years now, ever since migrants started pouring in. And in exchange, he's been extorting money out of the EU, right? Pay us billions and we'll keep those people away
that's a
from
thing.
you. Yep. Well, now, a few days ago, I think a week passed, Erdogan said price just went up. Um, and the EU was like, no. And so Erdogan opened the floodgates. And now people are flooding into Greece, Hungary, and Bulgaria.
Okay,
Uh,
first of all, uh, I love this guy. Okay, I'm an Erdogan fan, but what the fuck? How does he actually open the floodgates? Like I haven't been paying attention to
well, it's very simple. Look at it like this. You look at the migrants, and it's like, you guys want to go to Europe. It's amazing there, right? It's cold, no wars, one big union, everything is safe. Um, you can just go. In fact, I'll give you some boats, which he did.
that. He
And
did.
yes, people are like flooding into the island of Lesbos in Greece via boats, and the borders it's like there are actual units with shields and shit blocking the border, and tear gas has been applied, and only more will keep coming. And all you need to do is tell them that, oh, the passage is open. They'll welcome you there. They've welcomed people before, and if you're desperate
Man,
enough to believe it, people start flooding in.
it's fucking bullshit though. Like
It is.
we're a fucking parasite that much at this point. Well, it's not we. I'm not one of them, but I retain some sort of sympathy based on genetic origin, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, right? And again, I'm not on anybody's side on this, but it goes like this. So migrants get flooded in. To me, I look at it, and I see this as retaliation. I remember a while past, like years ago, that Turkey wanted to join the European Union, right? They wanted to be
Right.
part of this big economic community. The European Union refused. I don't remember what the reasons were, but they weren't into that thing. Well, I think Erdogan still holds a grudge, and ever since that coup happened, he mistrusts everybody, and he's been more aggressive since. And
That was a weird
uh,
coup, by the way. Like people said, it was staged because of how shit it went. They got fucked over
um,
with that coup. Like,
yeah, just because the coup failed doesn't mean it's staged. Um, Nobody knows what happened for real there, but it doesn't feel staged because people got out on the streets and stopped the military, right? And maybe that's a propaganda piece that happened. We can't know for sure, but um, just from the retaliation, it didn't seem that fake. Erdogan has been mistrustful of Europe ever since, right? Um, there hasn't been much that like again. I don't see a reason for it to. Oh, here we go. Hello there.
bruh.
Hello.
Welcome.
How dare the webcam you gave me to not work? It's your fault.
I have I I have no idea, but I apologize. You could have used your laptop. Your laptop's webcam.
Well, yeah.
Um, Regardless, we're talking about the European migration floodgates from Turkey.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, what did Europe expect? There's a reason why they say do not appease a bully. Do not try to be friendly with a bully and give them like concessions, because the bully will just keep taking your lunch money, and if you don't give them your lunch money, he's gonna punch you. Keep in mind, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but if I were them, it was stupid to begin with to either pay him forever or just don't pay him to begin with. Like, it's expected.
Well, what's happening right now is that Erdogan they didn't stop paying him. Erdogan asked for more, claiming that he doesn't have enough to feed the Syrians.
Again, bully tactics.
Well, again, yes, but here's the thing: should Europe have taken refugees to begin with? That's what started this whole mess. Like when Germany opened the floodgates on themselves, and the Germans went receiving everybody and hugging everybody, and then the EU mandating that every place should open their floodgates. Wasn't that the initial mistakes that happened?
Well, in a sense, yeah, but I'm pretty sure you guys talked about that a million times by now.
No,
I
we
mean,
haven't covered the
the
Europe
stupidity of
migration.
the stupidity of the EU is uncanny and consistent.
It seems like Denmark wants out now that the EU, now that Britain is out. Do you guys know anything about that?
Really?
Denmark has bitched
I didn't
saying
know about that.
Denmark has bitched because the only reason they joined was because Britain joined, and they were a huge trade partner with them. So they've been complaining to the EU court about because the EU, now that Britain's gone, they want to increase taxes on all the nations, so they make up for the loss. And Denmark is like, dude, no, we were only here because of Britain. And Germany's pretty upset, and France can't give more. And Boris is now threatening no deal. He's threatening no deal again. The EU is in its weakest form in a long time. And just as usual, Europe is destabilized because Britain. It doesn't help that the Turkey is messing around as well. It's a whole big mess in Europe right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and it seems like every Remainer in existence who predicted financial failure from Britain is a false prophet, and the Brexiteers were right all along. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how low the EU sunk so quickly, because all it took Britain is one threat with no deal. That's all it took. Oh, thank you, Arasan, for announcing that the stream is on.
Yeah, I'm basically covering your shit at this point.
Yes, it is appreciated. You as the Discord manager and me as this person who just kind of talks. I like that position. But yeah, curious. So we covered the corona. What are your thoughts on the corona right now, Arasan?
My thoughts about coronavirus. Actually, I will post a meme that I wanted to post in the group, but never got the chance. I'm gonna post it in the general chat of the Salt Grinder Discord server. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
But that's
I should put it on the description. But another thing, why don't you show it here on stream for people who aren't on the Discord, so they get more enticed to join?
How do I show it?
Share screen. It should be.
Share screen. If you see any porn, I apologize in advance.
What the fuck?
I'll try my best.
You dare anger the Susan?
You can choose which window it shows, so you can just.
Is it showing?
No, not yet. So basically, what happens is you click share screen, and the screen appears down here where people can't see, and I click it, and then it shows. So it has to be peer approved by the moderator.
Yeah, but sure, no problem. But there is a share button, but I can't click it.
Fine, I'll share screen.
Choose what you'd like to share. Okay, you're entire. Okay, fine, share.
There we go. So. Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's basically how it goes.
Again, it's less lethal than regular influenza. So funny enough, you see Trump.
I think that was the
right.
I think the fatality rate of corona right now is 2%.
2%.
While the overall fatality rate for the flu, I'm not sure if it's this year or over previous years, is I think 0.7.
I'm not sure about any of that, but I know that the common cold has a more severe effect. We just have a cure, right? Regardless.
And keep in mind, mortality rate doesn't mean how many people died. It just means between the people who are infected, how many have died. And of course, the number would be high because the number of people being infected isn't growing as much as the flu. If everybody got corona, the mortality rate would drop down. So it's a mortality rate. Do not forget that.
That is fair enough.
More people die of the common cold than corona so far.
Yep. Not only that, I have to call to mention, Trump said this, right? He was like, it's just the media beefing this up. Come on, relax, people. It's not that severe. And what did the media say that Trump said? He thinks the corona is a hoax.
Yeah. Actually, I was going through the Twitter account of Trump lately, and he retweeted something. He retweeted the stupidest meme video, but besides that, at real Donald Trump. to find it. It's basically just that somebody saying that Trump. He tweets a lot. Holy hell!
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's very active on the Twitters. He
Only
loves the
one
Twitter jam.
day, and how much did he tweet? Anyway, basically, it's some guy saying that Trump never said that coronavirus is a hoax. He just said that it's disgusting how the leftist media is using it to divide the nation rather than using it as a point of unity. Blah blah blah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Speaking of Trump and the U.S., you guys have been keeping up with the primaries, the Democratic primaries.
I know
Russia.
Buttigieg left and endorsed Joe Biden.
And Biden won the most recent caucus, if I remember correctly. So right now, so we have Bloomberg, Biden, and what's his name, and Sanders.
Bernie.
These are the three that are more likely to win. I'm surprised Elizabeth Warren is still in the race at this point. Who do you guys want against Trump, and who do you think can beat Trump between the three?
Who is the best or who can beat Trump?
Who's the best? Then who can beat Trump? Because they can be two different. Because my best was Yang, and Yang is gone.
Rip Yang.
He left. He left the.
Yeah. Yang
Long
left the
ago,
race
after Iowa.
Yeah, after Iowa, he left because he barely got anything. But he said he'll be back for the next one.
Who is the best? That would be Andrew Yang. Who can beat Trump? That would be Bernie Sanders.
Okay, but here's the thing. Out of the three that are left, we're not going to count Warren. We're going to count the people who are left. So Sanders, Biden, and what's his name? Bloomberg. Who's the best and who can beat Trump?
The best is Bernie Sanders. The one who can beat Trump is Bernie Sanders.
Okay, what about you, Yasha?
I think probably Sanders is the man who would beat Trump. I don't know so much about best. They all seem garbage to me, to be honest. But I do kind of want to see Bloomberg win just for the memes. That's it.
Bloomberg versus Trump.
Dude,
Just for the memes. That's it.
Bloomberg is not a meme. He's a dead meme. He's a meme that's no longer funny. He's a meme that's sad.
Dude, I don't want.
It's not like that person saying like, oh my God, this new outbreak. Like, please pray for our American friends. Don't worry, the Bloomberg ads will disappear soon.
Dude, here's my thing, right? I look at Bloomberg and I want him to fail for one reason and one reason only. I want him to fail mainly just to see that the half billion he spent went to waste. That's all I care about. 470 million in ads.
The reason why I want him to lose is because Bloomberg never done this until Trump got the presidency. I want to kill that. Like, I want this habit to die, which is people thinking, oh, I can basically just buy my way into the presidency.
Which Trump didn't.
He kind of did.
Did he? He spent 30 million, way less than Hillary. He just got a ton of free advertising.
He spent, but his own money.
I mean, well, yes, but he also got a lot of...
Which is not a bad thing to spend on your own campaign. But people would think, oh, money equals presidency. Someone like Bloomberg.
So, yeah.
Kill this trend in the butt.
Yeah, Trump didn't win because he spent some of his own money. Trump won because he outmaneuvered everybody, basically. So people need to remember that. And that's the main reason I don't think Sanders has a shot on this one. It's because I don't think he can outmaneuver Trump on his next election. But yeah, it is sort of interesting to see the Democratic Party, like assuming the Democratic Party loses, do you think they'll finally get the memo, or will they pull a Labor and just be like, "Oh no, we lost because race"?
Would it matter what they say? I mean, at this point, the entire Democratic Party is just crazy.
Well, yeah, but what would it take for them to wake up? Would it be another lost
Nothing.
election? Would it be a
No,
loss after
nothing.
Trump? Nothing, huh? They're too far gone. We need a new
Nothing.
generation.
Dude, the Democratic Party is basically money that's talking. There are people who fund them. If these people stop, they will stop. But till then, I don't think they're gonna stop.
Yeah, Gabandi, man. Yeah, this is going to be the regular streaming time from now on. I hope you guys like it. But yeah, like the Democratic Party is doing badly, and they will keep doing badly. And I think they're stuck in the whims of their own delusion, and nothing can bring them out. I agree with you. That's not good for the US, though. Just the same as it's not good for Britain. Having Labour out of the picture, because that means majority governments, and majority governments are almost never good. With no opposition, one side of the equation can just do their own agenda, and it doesn't matter. And that's never good for any nation that's developing. You know, but a democratic process is supposed to be a fight, and the center place is the best. And the center may move a bit left and move a bit right, but it will always remain the center, which is what matters. With that said, though, have you guys been keeping up with EA?
Nope.
Nope.
Do I need to say
FIFA
the story?
2020, the best game of all time.
Do I need to even give you the headline? They do something. It turns out to be shit. Everybody shits on them. They lose some money.
I mean, exactly. Like, is there anything new?
I think the
Apex
most
2?
recent. No, besides their Lego Stoopy Sloopy. Let me get the fucking name of their failure this time. Because there are so many, you kind of lose count, right?
There's
No, not this. Damn you, videos! Don't click when I don't click. Let's see. Yeah, I can't find it. Here we go. I don't know the name of the game. The headline doesn't say, and I forget what it's called. But it's not just EA. Blizzard has fucked up a lot recently. It's not only Blizzard that fucked up a lot recently. Almost every major developer that's not Japanese and is not European has been, just struggling to do anything, and I don't get why. What's wrong?
What do you mean that's not Japanese?
The Japanese have been just better at handling this. Maybe they're not doing full flops the same way EA is doing, or the same way as Blizzard is doing. If you can name me a title that has failed miserably from Japan, it's still received well. The fans didn't turn on it, is what I'm saying.
Just because, as Remus Lupin in Harry Potter said, wait, what did he say? Lupin quotes. It is the quality of one's convictions that determines success, not the number of followers.
Okay, all right. Let's flip this door open. Okay, let's talk Pokemon. Tell me.
Let's.
I haven't been keeping up. What's with Pokemon Home? What's with the new expansion? I don't know about it.
That was a good time. Pokemon Home.
Okay, Yasha, you talk about Pokemon Home. I have a lot to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Sure. Okay.
That one I'll think myself.
Yasha, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Back in the good times, when games used to be on the same handheld, you would just move stuff from one game to another, right? Then there was a few generations where you didn't even need to do that. People wanted to do that to begin with. But then you got the switch from DS to 3DS. So they made that app, the transfer app. You just download that and you move your stuff. Easy as it is. Then they wanted to move stuff from X and Y to Auras and Sword and Shield. How are they gonna do that? They made the Pokebank, which is a cloud save for your Pokemon. I
Right.
mean, that's cloud and servers. You gotta pay for it, you know. $5 a year, I remember is the number. And that seemed fine. People moved their stuff. They left some stuff on there. I think I have quite a few Pokemon there just stuck in limbo. But that wasn't an issue. People didn't talk about that so much. Now with Pokemon Home from 3DS to Switch, it's I think a $16 service now to move
What?
your Pokemon. 16.
I pay
And
$16.
trading, you remember the GTS where you can trade?
Yeah.
That's now on there.
So you need to pay $16 to trade.
Yes, it's not in the game anymore.
You're shitting me, right? No way. No way. A free feature that existed in every Pokemon game since
It existed
online
in
was
the Game Boy.
It existed in the Game Boy, and was only
It
limited
existed
by.
before online. There was a cable to do it.
Yeah, it existed before the internet existed. Now is just a paid subscription. Why? I can't justify it. How do you do that?
Oh,
Why is it a paid feature? Does it give you anything?
no, it's the same.
It's just trading. Just trading. Nothing else.
Trading and the serve, and you get the same Pokebank stuff, kind of.
Wow, okay. So did they run out of money? Was the poor graphics and all that not that they too expensive? Was the minimal
I don't think they
cutscenes?
can physically run out of money.
Not with that merch they won't. So what gives? What are they using that money for?
Their own pockets, their own yachts.
I don't get it. Okay. Let's leave Pokemon Home for now.
What do you
about
not get about people being evil?
Sustainability?
You assume that's smart.
I know. I give people the benefit of the doubt too much. But do tell me about Sword and Shield. You've been streaming the game on your Twitch for a while now.
What do I not say about Sword and Shield? Like, first of all, Yasha, stop blowing into your mic.
It's the wind. my
How
bad.
about you don't live in a windmill? But Sword and Shield. Where do I begin? Imagine you have a game where you have a lot of elements. And once you came to the Switch, you chose to emphasize on the absolute worst of them. Like, don't even get me started on Hop. The shitty, unneeded NPC interactions, where it's like they're teasing this puzzle, even though like it's a Dora level puzzle, Dora the Explorer. Like, okay, we get it. There's two princes, and the sword and the shield are Pokemon, and they used to defeat evil. Why is it still a mystery? It's there. What? Why do you still call it a mystery? Redundancy, as usual. That's pretty much it. And don't get me started with the new legendary they announced. Grass Monkey. Like,
another Grass Monkey. I saw that.
When they announced the $30 expansion pass, and they announced the shitty 2 new legendaries that looked like garbage, I'm like, okay, you reached the bottom of shitty design. out of nowhere without anybody asking them. It's like that meme format. No one, literally no one, not a single soul in existence. Game Freak, hey, do you want a new legendary that you never asked for? By the way, it's designed like shit. Grass Monkey, I swear. Like, what the hell is that thing? That is not a legendary.
Well, you said bad features. What did they emphasize on that's bad?
As I said, redundant NPC interactions.
Was that it? Is there anything else that they shouldn't have focused on?
Good question.
Because one thing I know I dislike is that Pokemon thing. What does it do? That where you pet the Pokemon, which is really not needed. And while it does give some flavor, it should never take away from the actual gameplay. It should be an extra feature besides gameplay. So did they take away a lot of the polishy thing just to focus on that?
They didn't take it away. But honestly, they ripped off Powerpuff Girls. Oh, did you see the meme? Did you see the meme of the Powerpuff
Yes,
Girls?
I saw it in the Pokemon group, right?
Yeah, and finally they have Mojo Jojo now. But yeah, they didn't remove the flavor, but they still managed to fuck it up. They introduced new good flavor, which is the camps. Now you can have a camp where your Pokemon roam around and you can play with them. You have toys. You can cook with them. How did they fuck it up? They didn't do more. You only have 2 shitty toys. Well, why not program more toys? You can make joint camps with NPCs, where you make a camp near an NPC's camp, so all your party are playing together. The NPC's party and your party. Why not do that with actual players? And you can chat with them there. I don't think so. Like, you can't roam around with players.
You can.
Hopefully it's there, but I didn't see it.
What about what do you call it? That zone thing, that free zone where you walk around and Gigantamax and all that. You can't set up camp there.
You don't play with others. You can't walk the free zone with others. The only way is like find a den, a Dynamax den, where you want to catch a Dynamax NPC or a Dynamax Pokemon, basically, and you can invite others to join your battle. But it's only in battles. You can't roam around with them. That's
such a wasted opportunity. I thought you can set up camp there and
the entirety of the franchise is wasted opportunities. It does not surprise me. Do not mistake my disappointment with astonishment.
Yeah, fair enough. What about the combat? Does it like, because in Gen 7 back in Sun and Moon, I felt like after I finished the game, I'm like, this is too stale. The combat mechanics are too stale now to provide good gameplay. It's just the guy with the better levels win. There is no real depth anymore, no real exploration of that aspect. So I hoped for Gen 8 to be the reboot for them mechanically. Do the mechanics feel stale?
It's the same mechanics. I don't know what you're asking. But in all fairness, it's very hard for me to answer this because in my stream, I'm not even focusing on winning. I'm focusing on entertaining my audience. Which means that a lot of times I did not choose a perfectly well-balanced team, and I didn't focus too much on leveling them up because that's stale for the stream. So for me, I struggled a lot in battles, and I had to use like a shit ton of revives, especially for the gyms. But I don't know if that would be different if I paid attention. So I cannot answer that fully. All I can say is that the battles look the same, but I personally struggled a lot, which was fun.
Okay, how about this? And that's a question for both of you. What would you guys change? If I put you now in director position in Game Freak, what would you change for the new game?
I think Yasha should answer that one first, because I'm going to take 2 hours.
I'm trying to get into a bus. Just 1 second.
That's why there was
Have
wind,
you
wasn't
ever
it?
in your life joined the stream in the comfort of your own home? It's either a
Not
gym or a bus or a windmill.
um,
All right, I'll answer the question.
go ahead.
If I'm gonna change anything, if I'm gonna change anything about Pokemon, it will be everything.
Yeah, what would the game
First
look
of
like?
all,
Tell me.
the struggle of the two games, the two legendaries, whatnot, will need a good philosophical stance. And by good, I mean good, basically. I don't mean fucking Gen 5, where truth and ideals essentially mean the same thing, and buying either game would change literally nothing. It's just fancy words. No, I would put an actual struggle. Like, simplest example I can give is Lysander and the whole deal of I want to create something good. I want to create a beautiful world, but that would mean I have to kill a bunch of people. It's a struggle. There is depth. It's not two-dimensional. I'm not saying that two-dimensional is bad, because I love my Archie and Maxi as much as the other guy. But that's something I'd personally add. Second of all, entirely scrap the battle mechanics. I hate it. The turn-based, you hit, I hit. Like you said, the results are determined before the match even begins. I'd adopt a Digimon World 1 system. And for those of you who don't know, in Digimon World 1, you are a quote-unquote trainer, and you have a Digimon. The Digimon battles. You do not control the Digimon, you control the trainer. And the Digimon has an AI to him and has an intelligence stat. So you can tell him, keep going. You can give him encouragement. But if you increase the intelligence of that Digimon, you can specify attack or defend. And if you increase it too much, you can specify which attack. And sometimes, if the Digimon is like cowardly, they would freeze mid-battle. Or you see the other Digimon running at them and then they run away. And like for 5 seconds, they're circling around the stage because one of them is afraid. That's a PS1 game for you ladies and gentlemen watching. A PlayStation 1 game with that level of AI. That is what I would introduce, because you are a Pokemon trainer, but there's no emphasis on the interaction between you and your Pokemon as a trainer. You're controlling the Pokemon. What the fuck are you? Your character is an NPC, if you think about it. League of Legends TFT style is similar to what you're talking about. I'll have to take your word on it, because I never played League of Legends.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here played League, but generally, I do agree with you on when it comes to the Pokemon battle, which is why to make it realistic, or rather applicable, what I would do is that I'd need to reboot the franchise as a whole, start over, and just introduce for the first, a Gen 1, new Gen 1, and you reboot the entire thing with new mechanics based on that.
Let's go Pikachu. Let's go Eevee. What do you think?
Not like that. You reboot the entire thing. And besides philosophical stance, don't you think the emphasis would not in a Pokemon game should not be a main quest? It should be a bunch of side quests and world exploration and world depth, because the Pokemon world always seems like you're talking to people, but you never really get to see a culture there. You never get to expand on a world or a place. It's more like...
Don't say never. Gen 4 exists. Do not insult me.
What I mean, of course, is side missions. You just kind of click and follow the main quest, and once the main quest ends, there isn't much to do. While if there were side quests and longer side quests and more in-depth side missions, and those are the focus, you can enter places and you can relate to them, and you can have a favorite arc of story that you go through that's not related to the main quest at all. And you get to know more about the Pokemon themselves instead of reading like 3 sentences in the Pokédex. You get to actually see something, Pokemon interacting, much like Mystery Dungeon, where there are like smaller stories that you can attach yourself to.
Oh, dude. The best game that can exemplify that. I already played it, but I can replay it again with you just for you to watch it. It's called A Cat's Quest, I think.
Oh no.
Oh, dude, that game. You'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll be happy, you'll be angry. Like, I finished it in one sitting.
What is it about? Can you tell me?
It's about a cat that lost its sister because an evil cat kidnapped it. But it's a mess on its own. But the reason why I mention it is because it has side quests. But each side quest, like, you discover something. Like, I'm gonna do one spoiler, okay?
Sure.
You enter a town, and then the town basically press X to purr. Please, I'm supposed to be the furry here. Oh, yeah, thank you. Anyway, so for example, you enter a town, and then there's this... it's basically deserted. There's literally nobody in the town. But then you see a weird quest there. You're like, who puts a quest on the bulletin board of a deserted town? And it's a guy saying, I need medicine for my sister who's dying. And then you get out of the bulletin board, you see the cat, he gets out of the house, and he tells you where the medicine is. You go to the place, you take the medicine, you get ambushed by monsters. Right. You kill them, you take the medicine, you come back to him, he does not exist. The town is on a lake. The other side of the lake, there is another deserted town. You go to it, same guy tells you, I need medicine. And then this time you know what's going to happen, so you don't fall into the ambush, you kill the monsters. You come back, there's nobody. And then you go to the other town, and then he asks you for the medicine again. But this time you see a cloaked figure of a guy who tells you, stop, don't do it. But you keep doing it. And then that guy is like, I'm warning you, do not do it. And you keep going from town to town until you finally find a book. You trace what's going on, you find a book, and then you realize that the town has been cursed by a wizard, like a necromancer, and the curse made them like 2 forms. It's the same town, but on both sides. Right. And you keep doing it, so you realize that guy is the necromancer, the old guy that showed up. And then later on, you battle him and all of that, and then you realize that the guy who has been giving you the quest is the necromancer. And his sister already died, but he wanted her memory to live on, so this whole mess happened. So you basically release the 2 towns. That's a game about cats, where like they give you like a meow pun. That's one side quest in it. Like you live in that side quest. That's one side quest out of a million. The game is extremely well designed. Extremely.
From what I understand is that this game is the spiritual successor to the Witcher series. Is that what you mean?
I'll tell you one thing. I played The Witcher for like 5 hours and played this for 8. I enjoyed it more than The Witcher.
Yeah, to be fair, it takes way longer to enjoy The Witcher because it's a way longer game. But that's besides the point. So what I'm getting from this is reminds me a lot of Digimon Cyber Sleuth. And I know I'm a Digimon fangirl, but hear me out, right? Because this is what Pokemon could be if they wanted to. In that game, you play basically a detective, right? And you have Digimon with you, and you use that to solve mysteries. And through that format, there is a main quest that you follow. But what I liked more is solving these small mysteries, and which each mystery there's a Digimon there that you interact with, and it has a personality, and it tells you its problems. And when you solve it, you find out either that it's good or that it's bad, and what's around it. And usually, each one of these quests exemplify the nature of that particular Digimon, and some of them can be goofy.
Yeah, so it's not only a side quest, but the side quest has its own story, and the people engaged in it have their own personality.
Not only that, these are the ones that really stick with you. The main quest is epic on scale, but not everything that's big on scale is what's most memorable. Sometimes what's most memorable is like these small things. I remember you, Arasan, showed me a play session on the 3DS of a Mystery Dungeons game, and they were like a group of Kunkelder, or what's their girders, right? And they were trying to build something, and then one of them got ill or got his ambition destroyed somehow. And
wait, which game?
It was, I think, I'm not sure actually.
I showed you the game?
Yeah, you showed me the game. Yeah, and it had girders in it. And you basically helped out the gird. Yeah?
It has girders. If it has girders, it has to be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity.
I guess so, because...
either that or Pokepark.
No, not Pokepark. It was a Mystery Dungeons game. You specified that when you showed it to me, and this was like a small part of the story, and it like both of us were emotionally invested into this experience.
Yeah, basically, it's like, it's a Mystery Dungeon game. So you enter this world. You're a human who became a Pokemon, as any Mystery Dungeon game is. So you find a partner, and you want to adventure and create your own base. But so you keep collecting money, so then you give it to a girder to build it, and then you go to adventure, and then he tells you that a thief stole it. So you go and try to find the thief. Once you find him, the girder shows up, and he tries to beat you up. Basically, you realize that the thief has been working for the girder. After you beat the girder, he tries to attack you again, and then the people who help him tell him, boss, please stop. You don't have to resort to crime just to keep, keep yourself afloat. When was the last time we did actual honest work? So he starts crying, and they're like, okay, fine, we're going to build you one last one, because basically his arm got injured. He cannot build something great, so he resorted to crime. But he's like, I'm going to try to build something great. And it's classic Mystery Dungeon. It's a tear jerk in the best kind of way possible. Every NPC has a story. It's Mystery Dungeon and it's glory.
And the funny part is this: the tear jerkers or these stories don't have to be that complex. It can be as simple as what you said. Like if I pitch that to you, okay, builder gets injured, who was a great builder, he can't build anymore, so he resorts to crime, and your job as the main character is to help him get back on his foot, encourage him. If you hear that, that's not particularly complicated, right? But that doesn't mean that if executed well, it doesn't give you a lot of meaning and a lot of depth and a lot of enjoyment as a player. And video games as a medium is a great format for these smaller stories. And I don't think enough is focused on that.
Basically, the video game industry as a whole is missing good writers.
Yeah, pretty much. And the writers that we have, they have they have a mind for great, expansive ideas, but they focus so much on the big that they actually forget that it has to be properly executed. A great example.
They focus on like epic stories about dragons and then entering this fortress. They forget the human element. They forget the interaction. Like it's dumb.
I call it Tolkien syndrome.
That's why I think that you should purge and massacre all hipsters with their indie game studios. Massacre them all. We're gonna lose a couple good ones, but massacre them all.
No,
actually, screw it. Massacre even the big ones.
Here's the thing, right? I call this Tolkien syndrome, and the reason I call it Tolkien syndrome is because it's what happened after people watched Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was this high fantasy. It was new. It was the beginning of the fantasy genre, right? And people have been laying off its high since. And what's been happening is that Tolkien, when he built his world, built his story, built his high fantasy, he put all the work in, right? So the end result ended up being a very good, deep, and enjoyable story. And the plot is simple. It's a fetch quest, right? It's that simple, right? But people took the grand scale that they saw from Tolkien, and what they want to do is they always want to replicate that in their stories. And the example that comes to my mind right now is a game called Nier Automata, right? And people praise that game to hell, right? I looked it up, and I was surprised. Imagine a story that wants to be philosophical, naming most of its NPCs and characters on philosophers, but never bringing their philosophies in besides telling you about it.
Wait, isn't that the fucking Square Enix game?
I think maybe.
Yeah. I just googled it. Dude, it's Square Enix. Please, you're not supposed to make fun of the mentally challenged. Please.
But
Square Enix. It's Square Enix. It's classic Square Enix. It sounds like Square Enix. It looks like Square Enix. It is Square Enix.
But that's exactly the problem, right? Which is like, let's make a huge game about philosophers and just put their names in. You know, Nietzsche's walking around and he's nihilistic. Let's call the main character 2B, as in 2 and B, but it's also 2B. What?
Wait, is that actually in the game?
Yes, and the main character is blindfolded, and when huge revelations happen, she removes her patch. It's so dumb. It is so fucking dumb. That game, and people in the gaming world, philosophical masterpiece. You know, that's what they called it. You know, it's an emotionally investing game filled with deep thoughts that make you think afterwards. And I looked at it and I'm like, what the fuck? Are you guys so limited in your capacity that you think that's deep philosophical thought? And that's not me being, Mr. Brainy. I'm just a regular guy, and this is dumb.
I blame this on the
perspective. The weebs, the weebs have a part of
Yasha, why do I have a feeling that if we did not talk about this game and you played it, you would have liked it?
I've looked at it before twice. I'd rather get Bayonetta than get.
Dude, Bayonetta's self-aware. That's rare.
Dude, Bayonetta is everything Devil May Cry could have been, because Bayonetta is self-aware. It knows what it is, and it's goofy in that way. It doesn't try to look cool. It tries to look goofy. So no, Bayonetta is awesome. Bayonetta is how you should do it. And by the way, Bayonetta is developed by the same people who developed Okami.
Of course,
don't you dare.
I think I don't know. Wait.
What?
Nothing. I'm just waiting for the canonical announcement that Bayonetta is Virgil's mom.
What? No, thank you. No, thank you. There is one thing though. How do you think we kill this trend? Because here's the thing: the successful games usually tell classic stories, and they don't really bother with them. But how do we stop the indie fucking idiots from taking their big ideas and never actually making a fucking game?
You can't. You literally cannot. Any fix that you can apply to this situation will be two-dimensionalized in their heads and seen as a new trend. You try to create more in-depth stories, they'll make shitty in-depth stories. You try to make colorful games, they'll make shitty colorful games because they want to milk money. You cannot stop the bad. You can only tune it out of your head and say it does not spark joy and just throw it out of your house.
But it does raise an interesting question for me. Why did a game like Undertale succeed, yet games that are similar didn't? What's in Undertale that made it succeed?
Well, it
Children.
depends on what you mean by games that are similar.
So turn-based RPGs, old school formula, small little new mechanics sprinkled in. What in
Yeah, nobody
Under-
likes Undertale because it's old school turn-based. People like it because of the depth, the characters, the fact that you can go through the entire game without killing anybody. The memes.
the soundtrack?
So, uh,
No, because here's the thing, and I've always been confused by this because nobody has really actually broken down how a game should be made. And so most of the people, like looking at EA right now, just kind of make stuff, and whether they rise or they fail is up to accident and how the people received it. It's still a relatively new format, and nobody's sitting down to think on how to actually design a game properly.
and
We
you
know how
wonder,
movies.
and you wonder why I hate capitalism.
Okay.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Okay.
Every field on earth that you like or not liked has problems right now because it's being screwed over by businessmen. It's like this category of people we call business people are literally seeping into every field in existence and screwing it over. Think about it for a second. You don't see a lawyer in a doctor robes. You don't see a baker developing a game, but you see a businessman fucking everywhere.
Okay. Okay, but how? Like, okay, if
No,
how does
because
that
it's
trans?
simple. You're asking how to fix it. The solution is extremely simple. But give it to EA, they'll tell you, oh, our shareholders, the fucking trends, we have to follow the trends because the money and the business aspect, the corporate aspect, it's a lost cause. They already
But-
fucking,
But isn't generally businessmen are the reason we have like good games to begin with? Funding. If you don't have funding, but you have a great idea and you pitch it to the right person, he'll provide you with the means.
yeah,
So
that's
it's
called
a double.
businessmen knowing. That's called businessmen knowing their place. You provide the funding. I provide the thought and the idea. You don't interfere.
So what you're saying, we have a lot of businessmen that don't know what the hell they're doing.
There's a lot of businessmen interfering with the creative process because they think it will make money. That's literally how any SJW product happens.
But
What's the hottest topic right now? It's equality. Like in the next game, we need one. They give them a list. We need one black transgender. We need one Muslim. It's businessmen. No creative mind would make that.
Actually, I don't think it's the
And-
businessman for that one.
And by
At
the
least
way,
for that.
Junichi Masuda is not a creative mind.
Who's Masuda? Is he the guy at Smash?
The Pokemon director.
The guy who
Oh
has-
yeah, the Pokemon director. Yeah, the Pokemon directors, like anybody in charge of Pokemon, has long since lost their fucking ability to create, and are riding a trend that should have died 15 years ago.
Except one guy, current CEO of Nintendo.
the
Bowser?
current
What? Not Bowser. See, said Nintendo, not Nintendo of America.
Didn't
the old man who made the Switch happen
No.
already quit.
Not the old. That guy left. Yeah, that guy
Yeah,
was
what's
a
the-
temporary CEO.
Yeah, who's the new guy?
The new guy. Hold on. His name. Nintendo CEO. Shuntaro Furukawa.
Show me his face. Is he as deadly?
No. Oh no. Oh no. He looks like Kim Jong Un if he was friendly.
He looks like a
Hold on, I'll post his picture in the group.
Okay, let's take a look. See. What is that? Why is his eye so small? Okay, I have
He's
to show
Asian.
this. No, he's too small even for Asians. Isn't that odd?
It's because he is he keeps his eyes on one prize.
Well, here's the thing. Just as usual, Nintendo is the saving beacon of the gaming world, right? It's not an understatement that I'm making.
They're saviors in principle, but in practice, it's like I still can't forgive them over Breath of the Wild. And not to mention Super Smash. It's like, dear Nintendo, how about you take control of your developers? You do realize that Game Freak should be your bitch. It's like Bernie. It's like Bernie. He has good principles, but he has no control over his own people. I'm slowly being concerned here.
Oh, so you think then the problem Nintendo has is the exact opposite of the American developers, which is that they give their developers a bit too much freedom, and
yep.
Here's one thing. Recently, I looked up what's it called, the history of Fire Emblem. From the beginning to the end. It's a 2.5-hour documentary on YouTube, and I just wanted to see the origins of the franchise, right? And here's one thing that I like Nintendo did that I liked, which is that that brand before until Awakening, which was really losing a ton of money. They weren't really making any big success. But Nintendo kept giving them chances, and for Fire Emblem Awakening, they told them, this one better be good because this is your last chance. And that's why the studio poured in all its resources to make it. And when it blew up, they immediately doubled their funding and doubled their staff and just told them to go bigger. And what that tells me is that at least Nintendo is reasonable.
They are, and their business practices are some of the best. But it's wasted on shitty people. It's wasted on shitty developers. That fucking Super Smash guy who thinks like he's fucking what's his name? What's his face from Death Stranding?
Sakurai. Right, that's his name?
No. Yeah, it's Sakurai, no. But what's his face from Death Stranding?
Kojima?
Yeah, he thinks he's Kojima too.
It's fan worship. It's fan worship.
That guy should be killed.
Kojima or Sakurai?
Sakurai.
Why?
Dude, it doesn't matter if they fire him or kick him out. The damage is done. He needs to be killed.
Okay, what would you do to
full-on assassin, hired assassin, goes to his office, bullet in his head, killed.
Okay. I have to see your reasoning here. Why do you want to kill him? What's wrong with Smash?
The arrogance of the guy.
But I thought you liked people who are arrogant.
No, dude, no. Yeah, be arrogant, but own it. Fucking put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, so he's one of these closeted, arrogant people who are like, it's all for the fans. By the way, I'm the best.
Dude, forget the fucking decisions that he's doing for fucking the new characters for Smash. What the fuck did you do to the guys?
What's wrong with those decisions? I don't get it.
You don't get it. You don't get the fucking carnage that's happening in the Smash fandom right now.
What's happening?
Hold on.
Democratic?
Yeah, hold on.
He wanted. And then he did Violet because Nintendo wanted him to.
Oh, did you cut off, Matt?
No.
God damn it.
Hold
Did I cut
on.
out?
No.
Okay.
What is happening?
So you're cutting off, Yasha. You keep going and coming back. So what am I looking at here?
Yeah, just read the meme.
Okay, so top Democratic candidate, you have Hillary, you have Bernie, and then you have don't know, 22%. And I can barely read, only 22. Can I like expand this or no? I can't.
I can read.
Sure,
Only
read, please.
22% of millennial Democrats plan to vote for the gray faceless man in the upcoming elections. A shame. When you haven't unlocked all the Democrats. I bet it's another Fire Emblem character. Yeah, like the whole Fire Emblem thing, the whole shitty character choices for Smash, which is fine. Like, it's not fine. He's dumb. But that is
You
just
can tolerate
one thing.
it. You can tolerate it. What else is there?
See, it began as a meme, Waluigi in Smash. But when they asked him, he's like, it's up to me. I don't want Waluigi there, so he won't be there. Fuck all of you. Thirdly, what the fuck did you do to fucking Kid Icarus? Why aren't you developing a new Kid Icarus? Basically, Super Smash is basically an ad machine. Whoever pays him gets to make an ad on Super Smash by introducing the character once the game is released. Slimy, snaky, shitty decisions that no developer should be doing. That's not Nintendo. That's fucking EA. That's fucking Kojima.
Well,
that's why this guy should be killed.
Well, yeah, to be fair, whenever a new Smash character gets released, it's usually near something, a game that's related to that character. So when Banjo and Kazooie got made, you know, like Banjo and Kazooie games got revealed and or ported, and a new one got released. And the same thing happened for that Terry guy. And the Byleth came out right around the DLC time. The time for the Fire Emblem DLC. So there is merit to what you're saying. And when people kept making lists for what's it called, for the new Smash characters that they want in, Sakurai said the characters have already been decided for the next season.
Saying Kojima, the blessing sent to us from the heavens. Dear God, please take him back.
Oh no, dude, we shit on Kojima every chance we get, because we all know that nobody here likes rope games. Okay, we like stick games. So, and one of the things we like is,
you know what you need to do in the Fault Grinder? You need to do like a gameplay for what's called Man Standing.
Oh, you want us to play Man Standing live?
Yes.
This is gonna need some preparation. You know what? I'll put it on the chalkboard. Why the fuck not? Let's do Man Standing stream. Here we go. Man Standing Soul Grinder live stream. There you go. You think that game will get DLC?
It will be another Fire Emblem character.
You know, funny thing, I bought Man Standing for 99 cents, if I remember. Just because it was such a deep game, I just had to support the fucking platform. This game is innovative.
But keep in mind, you can't enjoy it. You're not European. You're not from Madagascar. You cannot appreciate it.
You know what's hilarious? The concept that Kojima was going for isn't particularly bad, but I don't.
What is it?
FedEx simulator in a post-apocalyptic world. Like, when you hear that, When you hear that, I can't imagine like 100 ways I can do it right, and only one way to do it wrong.
No, I can,
And that's the
I
Kojima
can
way.
imagine a shitty sandbox indie game where all the enemies look the same and act the same. That's what I imagine. I'm sorry.
No, here's the thing.
You know, it's like Ben Shapiro's stance on communism. It's not good in theory, bad in practice. It's bad in theory and bad in practice. That's
No,
Death Stranding.
Think about it. I know Death Stranding is bad, but if I'm gonna pitch to you Death Stranding on paper, Death Stranding on paper, and I'm gonna tell you to make it good.
As I said, on paper, even then it's a bad concept because it won't have the playability value. It will be repeated enemies. It won't be good. I don't think that concept is good even on paper.
I know I can think of
That's
a
a
few ways to
recipe
make it
for
good.
a game with no playability value.
But all the issues you've just mentioned are issues that you can work up on as a game designer and solve to make it good.
Yeah, if you invest literally every brain cell you have into forcing this game to be good Nintendo style, sure.
Well,
But
here's the thing.
realistically speaking, I won't pitch that idea to any developers because it has nothing.
Well, here's the thing. I look at a game like Papers, Please, right? And how much it got out of you for so little, right? And such a simple concept. You're a transit
And
agent.
how much of the playability value does this game have?
No, you only play it once.
Exactly.
But here's the
Your
thing:
points?
not every game has to be replayable. You don't replay Life is Strange.
If it's gonna be an indie game where like a small developer does it in like high bit retro style, sure. You want to give it the same amount of budget? You want to make it a AAA game? Hell no.
I guess that's fair enough. We can agree on that. Maybe Kojima should have started small.
Unless it's Nintendo, because Nintendo can pull miracles.
Yeah, Nintendo's Nintendo, right? They can make a game about yarn and somehow it makes money. You know, like they're fucking weird. They can make a movie like they can make anything. Nintendo. It's odd. I guess if you have a lot of enough crack, and a designer team who's used to having crack while they're designing, you can make anything work.
Oh, fair enough. That's Mario Odyssey.
Yep. I still don't know how they made that game. Like what sort of what did you put in your system? It's not normal. Regardless, I do want to call this to attention, which is to me an interesting question, and I'd love your take on it. First things first, Yasha, are you still alive?
I am still alive. I think I
Yeah.
found proper Wi-Fi now.
Okay, so again, I'll try to address this question for you guys both, which is actually, we never got to see your take on Pokemon. Now that I remember, like, so how would you design Pokemon differently? Yeah.
Not make it for babies. Difficult gameplay. Which, okay, even if your main audience is going to be children, your children can still pull it off. Can still handle higher levels of combat. Something you guys might not have heard about, but it kind of went a bit viral outside the VGC community. But there was the juniors champion, this I think Singaporean girl, who got viral because of how adorable her reaction to winning was. But I saw the thing because I wanted to see what happened, right? And the moves that she made, I wouldn't be able to think like that. It's really intelligent stuff. So why not make your games at least somewhat challenging? Everything is a walk in the park and sort of shit. That's number one. Number two, again with the story, don't make a story for babies. Or you have two guys, one of them has weird hair, the other one has less weird hair, and they want the legendary Pokemon to defeat some random space snake.
Actually, here's the thing. Do you think legendary should be scrapped as an idea?
No,
in
they
Pokemon?
need more charisma. They need to be. They need more story behind the legendaries. Gen
What
4
about
and
you?
Gen 3, I think, did it well. All other generations are meh.
What about you?
Gen 6 is alright.
But
Do you think legendaries as an idea should be scrapped, at least as the main focus of attention in a Pokemon game?
no, definitely no.
Okay. How would you do the legendaries then?
I'll do them the way I do anything with mythology and symbology.
Well, okay, but still, like, how would they look like? What their impact will be? Will you make it world changing stakes like Dialga, Palkia, and Kyogre and Groudon? Or will you do it as more of they exist and they represent something, and people messing with them caused a bit of tension type of thing?
Both. Why not? You know, one of the best ways Pokemon ever did legendaries was the tapos.
What?
Go on.
Yeah, why do you guys sound skeptical? Like
I'm not
wrong?
skeptical. I want to understand. Just, what in the tapos? I like the tapos, but
The interaction between the tapos and the kahunas and how it relates to the island and how they're the guardians of the island and there's a ritual for each one of them to show up. That type of thing.
What about the Ultra Beasts? Do you think that was one direction they should have expanded upon?
I do not count them as legendaries.
I know, but
I don't think they're legendaries either, but I think they had a really good concept going on with them. They could have just fleshed it out more. It's a bit too simple. Personally, the Ultra Beasts are my favorite Pokemon group. The designs are amazing. The idea behind them is really cool. And in Ultra Sun and Moon, when they get to go to their dimensions.
I'm sorry. It's just...
Keep talking, Yasha. Keep talking.
It took me a second. I'm sorry.
Keep talking.
Naganadel is my favorite Pokemon.
Keep talking.
Yeah. Something where you go to their dimensions and it's really fucking cool. Yes.
Yeah. What else?
It doesn't look half as good as me. Look at that face.
Oh, okay.
My good is better too.
Okay, how is this so accurate? It hurts. It hurts.
You sound the way he looks, by the way.
Muscle. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I lost all the trains of thought I could have ever had. Yeah, I personally.
Basically, the way I do Pokemon with legendaries is the way Disney does their movies. Collect different legends from the world, put your own twist on them. Dude, fuck mythology. Make a fucking Ghost Water legendary about the Flying Dutchman. Like, you know the amount of ideas and symbology that is just scattered around the world and culture. Like, why do you give me Grass Monkey? What is wrong with you? Why are you tired, Mr. Yasha?
Why do you hate Grass Monkey?
Why do you love Grass? Who loves Grass Monkey?
I think we had too many of them. How many grass monkeys do we have in the game right now?
3 with their evolutions. 3 with them.
Actually, there's a meme about it.
Like, I think Gen 5 gave us 3 monkeys,
Yes.
which were the lamest pieces of shit with the lamest concept ever created. Ooh, you picked a type? Well, the gym leader was gonna go at the type that's strong against LOL, and they're all monkey LOL. Oh, by the way, you get the other one. The other type. I despised it.
One second.
But yeah, I do have to disagree with you guys on the legendaries and Pokemon. Personally, I liked the legendaries more back in Gen 1 when they had nothing to do with the story and you can go and pursue them, but they're not relevant, not even in the box art. The box art was the Pokemon that you can have as the starter, and I really like that more because I never end up playing with the legendaries. I always end up playing with the starter Pokemon. So I always want them to be on display, not the fucking legendary. I can give two rats ass about the legendary.
Eh, I want the trio master to have meaning again, like in the Rayquaza Giratina days. Ever since Kyurem, they just shat on them.
The third legendaries, yeah, they've always.
Okay, the Sword and Shield third legendary, what's his name? I love that design. I adore that design. But what the hell does he do? Well, what's the point?
They also screwed over Zygarde. I think Zygarde didn't even get to have a story. They were
Dude,
so
like,
lazy.
the Zygarde was a fucking like. I wanted to find his mom just to apologize to her. Like, you screwed him over so much. Dude, you're making a serpent that looks like a Hindu Naga, and you made him like related to Norse mythology and the tree of life. And you make like, oh, he has three forms. It is dog, it is snake, and it is Power Rangers. Like, who thinks of that? Dude, you need a new level of enlightenment to reach that level of screw over. Like, you can't screw over something that hard. You can't naturally do it.
But
Dude, there is someone in that team who is clinically a psychopath, because like there's no way a normal brain can screw something over that hard. You know, severe autism. Something is wrong with someone there.
But that goes
You
on.
know,
for
like
every
how people with autism like praise the Guardians of the Galaxy because that guy who's played by Batista is like, they say he doesn't understand humor and all of that, which is something common for autistic people. So he's kind of been like a symbol. That's the Pokemon company. Something obvious they
New
don't get.
topic
You
time.
know,
New topic time.
it's what new topic time?
I'm running out of charge. Go.
No, we'll stay on topic. That's fine. We're gonna end soon. I don't want to switch to a topic since this one is already
No,
rich
you
with
had
salt.
something to say. You had something to say.
No, there is that thing. What's it called? I also like how they screwed over what's his name, Kyurem. Every third generation or every third game
Kyurem.
after, yeah, Kyurem got shat on. And did Gen 7 even have a third one? Necrozma, right?
Necrozma was a better Kyurem.
And
Who's
everything.
Necrozma?
Parasite.
Do you know why he's good? Because he has a story arc.
Yeah.
The blinding one, the light thief. Like, they did him well. Dude, if someone, me as a mythology enthusiast, if someone asks me for a very good analogy and symbology for Lucifer, I'll point them to Necrozma. Because he's like light and you know, he's the light stealer and he's like this glorious thing with his music, but he's actually a thief. Like, that's what should have been. What the fuck is the Kyurem?
I mean,
He's a cold
first,
guy.
no, first there were one being, and then they split into two beings when truth and ideals got something, and Kyurem was what was left. And then Kyurem can fuse with the other legendary and gain its powers.
Kyurem,
I
please.
swear to God. Did you watch the Kyurem movie?
I have
So
not.
sad.
I have not sank that low. I have never sank that
Keldeo
low.
is the worst character
When
in
you
human history.
think Rayquaza, the Rayquaza, the Giratina, in the
Yeah.
Kyurem movie. Nurse Joy, she's like, oh, these are the legendary musketeers. They're actually, we've seen them before. And then, oh, they protect against Kyurem, who lives in this factory near our town. You're talking about the third of a trio. He lives in a factory near your town? Who are you, Nurse Joy?
Actually,
what did you do in your past?
Actually,
Who did you kill?
I compare this to the two movies where Rayquaza and Giratina were in, and the one with Giratina in it. Giratina comes out to punish Dialga and Palkia for their battle that distorted time and space, and it's like epic scale fight. And then the one with Rayquaza is fighting against Deoxys, who's an invader from space, and everybody's fucking scared. And then you tell me that Kyurem lives in a factory.
He lives in a factory. And by the way, do you know how the story began? Keldeo wants to prove himself for the other musketeers that he's equal. So he's like, fuck you guys, I'm going to the factory to challenge Kyurem. That's how it began.
Why?
It's Tarzan. It's Simba. Like what? And then like Nurse Joy, when they ask her about the musketeers, she literally plays a video on her screen of them running. Like, I assume Usain Bolt is running like parallel to them filming this. Like, you have a video, you have footage, you have National Geographic footage of three legendaries running around, and you know them by name. And like, what was that movie?
Yeah,
what was that reputation that they screwed Kyurem with?
No, well, that's the annoying part, right? Like, they topped with Giratina, I think, but after that, every third legendary has been just sad. Even Necrozma, he wasn't even given that much. Compare what Necrozma had to the Distortion world, where, like, the two legendaries.
Necrozma was fine. That is the one slack I'm gonna give him. Necrozma.
What?
Not fucking Solgaleo. Not Solgaleo. Necrozma.
Still though, I just don't see the oomph the legendaries used to have. The catch rate of Solgaleo and Lunala was the same as a Rattata. What? Why?
I mean, in Aura, Rayquaza was a forced catch.
Was he? I threw a Master Ball, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, let me tell you the story, right? So there was I don't know, I was 14 or something. I'm playing Auras. I decide I'm gonna catch every legendary in this game with a Pokeball. What an absolute legend!
Reminds me of someone.
So I go about that.
Someone who's successful at it.
Oh,
okay.
But go on.
I do that to every legendary, and I reached like the Delta episode at the end. And I battle Rayquaza, I catch him with a Pokemon. Then I battle Zinnia, the girl after him. Then I watch a cutscene. Then I battle Deoxys. And every time I try to get it low, he doesn't want to get into the Pokeball. So I get him lower and I kill him. I did this 18 times. Caught Rayquaza with a Pokeball, battled Zinnia, saw the entire 5-minute cutscene, battled this guy, killed him 18 times until I used the Master Ball. Then I go to school the next day, and my friend is like, "Oh, if you kill Deoxys, he just respawns somewhere else." Yeah.
I mean, it's fair enough.
Do you want to know the hardest Rayquaza to catch?
Gen 3?
Red and Blue?
Rayquaza and Pokemon Ranger.
Oh.
Yeah, I never played Ranger, but you don't catch people there, right?
You do.
You do? Isn't this you do this thingy with your?
Yeah, and if you spin it enough, you catch them.
Oh, okay. So what's wrong with a Pokeball?
Uh, it's strange, it's very weird. But it was a fun game.
Why is the Pokemon spin-off so much better than the actual main game?
Because they're not developed by Game Freak.
Well, to be fair, when Game Freak made their own game, it flopped so hard they're never gonna do it again. So they're not
Dude,
actually game
Freak
developers.
Game Freak are not game developers. They just manage merch. They're a merch company.
They're a reskin
They're like
company,
minions.
right?
You know? Dude,
Yeah.
it's minions. It's glorified minions.
It is an annoying thing, certainly. Like, imagine you having loving Pokemon and now joining Game Freak, thinking you're gonna make a difference and put your mark in the Pokemon franchise, and realize you can't do shit but reskin. But yeah, with that said, the stream is ending. Do you guys want to give any closing remarks?
Thank you, the Tyrant of Russia, Yasha. Please contact me on my DMs. We can go to Tim Hortons or something together.
Ara?
I have one shout out. Shout out to the assassin I'm paying to that's gonna kill Sakurai for me.
If you're gonna pay an assassin, kill Masuda. Let Sakurai be.
What is the better kill? Yeah, I would kill
Thing is,
Masuda.
I don't think Masuda, like, it's his shareholders. Kill his shareholders. How about you just nuke the entire company? Like
The old guard,
I don't
yeah,
think
the entire old guard.
I don't think anybody there has common sense.
Kent Tugomori is feeling bad.
I'm gonna hire the psychopath that's in the Pokemon company to kill Sakurai,
Turn him into Kyurem.
and then make him into a normal fighting type legendary.
As for me, I would like to make an announcement. We did on our Discord group, shameless plug, we did a vote for which version of Minecraft you guys want for the server. And
Did
the
they
version...
vote?
yeah, and we have 3 votes for Bedrock Edition and 2 votes for Java. So based on that, I'm gonna make it in Bedrock. If eventually
Literally no one voted.
Keep in mind, I do have to say something. I don't know if I should kill your boss or not, but
yeah,
there is one default vote for the bot. So it's actually 2 votes for Bedrock and 1 vote for Java.
it doesn't matter. I was gonna let it run for a day, and based on that, I'm gonna make the thing. And so 2 people voted for Bedrock. Well, one person voted for Java, so it's gonna be Bedrock. I already made the server. I'm gonna send the link here in the invite link for the Bedrock edition here in the comments, and it's gonna be on the Discord. And Arasan, if you can be so kind as to make a Minecraft channel, so people can participate there. And I hope to see you guys there. I'll certainly be active. I'm gonna make the base for the fucking place, and I hope to see you guys there.
That would be awesome, actually.
Yep. With that, I may even stream it if enough demand rises. And by enough demand, I mean 2 people say I should. Until then, though, I'll see you guys later.
Channel
yeah?
done.
Great. Okay, see you guys there. See you guys on the Discord. See you guys in Minecraft. And on the next Soul Grinder, same time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.